family and friends. Welcome to another episode of Mental Health Conversations with Nerat-Dagwi. Today, we're going to be diving into something very practical, and I think that it is timely and very necessary for every one of us. I'm not going to be doing that alone. I am joined by my senior colleague, and I'll allow him to introduce himself. Over to you, sir.
Hi everyone, I'm delighted to be part of this conversation. My name is Philip Dimka. I am a clinical psychologist, trauma therapist, and play therapist. Well, that's what I do, and I guess that's it about me. Except, of course, if there's something else I should be saying. But
Well,
thank you.
you're a husband and a dad to a very beautiful baby girl or baby girls.
Yeah, absolutely. I am married to one female wife, and we have two girls, Sida and Samara. So yes, I'm surrounded by girls. It's exciting.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. So, like I mentioned earlier, he's my senior colleague, and we have never actually met in person. All our communication and interaction has been online, and I'm really excited to be doing this, honestly. And I want to be like him when I grow up, career-wise. You had mentioned earlier that you are a clinical psychologist and a play therapist. Please, what is a play therapist?
Play therapy, or it's kind of a specialization. Therapy is to children and adolescents what talk therapy is to adults. So it's a system of psychotherapy, that you use in working with children, adolescents and young people. But interestingly, I've also used techniques and of play therapy in my work with adults, and it has worked marvelously. But play therapy is kind of a psychotherapy and counseling model designed specifically for children, adolescents and young people with all kinds of mental health, concerns.
Yes, as I was saying, congratulations on your certification. I think I saw a post that you made on LinkedIn, your play therapy certification. That's a huge feat. Well done.
Thank you very much.
So yes, like I said, today's episode is going to be very practical because we don't want to be talking above people's heads. Whatever that we are doing and talking about, we want people to be able to translate it into actionable steps. And that is why today the title of this episode is Mental Gwas. If you don't know what Gwas is, it's just like a Nigerian slang, another word we use for resilience or strength. So Gwas in our mental health, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So please tell us, what is mental Gwas and why is it important?
All right. I'm particularly excited about this conversation today. But let's just start with the basics. When we talk about Gwas, we're referring to that like inner grit, that inner strength we all have. And basically what that means is your ability, to bounce back after life knocks you down. After you've gone through a difficult experience, you've gone through a challenge, something that really impacted on your mental health, your emotional well-being, your general psychological well-being. That ability to bounce back is what is referred to as Gwas. It's like a muscle, the way you have muscle, you train your muscle, you exercise it, and it helps you to, lift weights and perform duties and everyday life function. Mental Gwas helps you to stay grounded and to stay hopeful, whether you're dealing with a particular setback, a particular challenge, whatever the case may be. So mental Gwas is very important. Without it, life can be just anyhow. Life can be unpredictable. Life can be volatile and fragile. So mental Gwas helps you to stay grounded. It's your ability to, go through difficulty and be able to recover from it and just keep going in life as the case may be. So that's what I, consider mental Gwas.
Okay, thank you very much. Mental Gwas helps you to stay grounded. I mean, in a situation that we find ourselves, like the situation of Nigeria, it is very important for all of us to have mental Gwas. And I'm excited because at the end of this, we're all going to learn how to survive, not just mental and psychological issues, but also like day to day interacting with people issues. So yeah, my second question now would be, do some people need and have more guas than other people to survive?
Hmm, the age-old question. Well, there's always the question about are some people like more? Are some people born?
Yes.
With Gwas, or how does it come about? Is it inborn? Is it learned? And all of those things. Well, I think generally some people are naturally more resilient than others, and
Okay.
that's a fact of life. and and this is not because they are better than others, but it's just because of the state where they are, at that point in their life. So yes, some people are naturally more resilient than others, but there are many factors, that affect that, and it's important,
Okay.
to just cast some light on that. But I think that basically it's a function of both genetic predisposition and environmental factors. when
Okay.
when you observe that more people have more resilience, or more inner strength, or more grit than others, it's not totally because they are born with it. I think generally both genetics plays a role, but upbringing, early life experiences also
Yeah.
play a critical role when it comes to mental gwas. And
Mm.
that's why you see more people are more resilient in life than others. Some people seem to are able to handle more challenges, better than others. But I think
Yeah.
it basically resides on personality, which is a function of both your genetic predisposition and environment. And then, of course, for us as psychologists, there's also nature nurture arguments.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think
There.
we've come to the place where we realize that both nature, that's our genetic predisposition, and our environment shapes our experiences. So I would say what puts some people at better advantage is how the environment has shaped them, the kind of experiences they've had from childhood growing up, the kind of social support they've had. Did they have social support? Did they have supportive family? Were they encouraged? Did they have more negative experience than positive experience? How were they, how were they able to resolve their negative experience growing up? Did they have all of the support around them and all of that? All of those dynamics, childhood experiences, social support, environmental factors generally, whether or not there was help or not, whether or not they resolved some childhood crisis or not, all of those
Yeah.
things interact together to, prepare the person for where they are presently in life. But mental growth is something anyone can build, regardless of their starting point, regardless of their background, where they are coming from, their experiences, their personality, their gene. It's something anyone can build. Basically, it starts with mindset, then it translates into habits that develop over time. Just think of it like learning to play an instrument,
Yeah.
maybe a guitar or a keyboard or something else. That's how mental growth is something you can cultivate, over time. So
Oh, thank you so much. That was very insightful. I mean, from the psychologist's point of view, there's always the nature and nurture thing. And just so it doesn't sound very complicated, it is your genetics and your environment and how all of that plays out into contributing to your experience as a human being. Now, I hope that you don't mind sharing. Do you have an experience that you want to share with the people? An experience where you went through something and your mental growth was tested. How did you navigate it and how did you bounce back?
a particular time that I experienced that my mental growth was tested, maybe it was when I lost my uncle. So I lost my parents early on in life. So this my uncle particularly was like a father figure, and we had significant bond, and so when he passed on, I didn't get to see him. He passed on in another state, and I didn't get to see him. I didn't get to really experience the impact of what happened. It was after he was sent, cops were sent down to Jos. I still didn't, cry, or or respond to the impact of the event until the burial. After everything has passed, everyone has gone. That was where my own started. Like I
Oh,
started
wow.
experiencing panic attacks. Like I went through like significant, crisis, mentally. I
Yeah.
lost composure. It started affecting my ability to cope at work, and everything around me, my relationships, was tested, was so it was evident I was experiencing stress, and my ability to cope was really affected, and I lost it. At that point in time, my ability to really, really do well, stay afloat in terms of my responsibilities was really affected.
Yeah.
So I think that's one experience that really I can remember now and would say that affected my mental, was to stay afloat in a difficult time. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I think that another issue is even considering the fact that in Nigeria and also in Africa, generally, it is believed that you should just shrug it off based on you are a man. So
Exactly.
there's already expectations that you are not really affected like that. So now, from that experience, in hindsight, now, what would you say were some healthy coping mechanisms that you used? And then, like, how would you have coped better with what you know now?
Well, I think I want to point out something about the African culture that has is both an advantage and a disadvantage is
Yeah,
the massive social support you get when you lose someone or when you're going through something. The communal nature of the African society, when you lose someone, everybody comes around, they are there for you, they support you.
yeah,
But the downside of that is that you are overcrowded and overwhelmed, that you don't have the space to grieve or to really express your emotions. That the people just come around you and they support you, they overwhelm you, that you don't process your experience. So that can be a negative thing. I think that played sort of a role in my experience, and even though like people were around, but culture played its role in the sense that many people came around over. It was overwhelming, and people were
yeah,
comforting you, and the expectation, you were not supposed to break down, you were supposed to do work and still meet up with responsibility. So that kind of played a bit of a negative role, in as much as people would think, oh yeah, that's a positive thing. So, but I think that helped me on the positive light. People came around, supported. I had all the support I need. But I realized that one way, something I should have done to help me cope then, was to
yeah.
really talk about my experience, to
Hmm.
find someone to really connect to. Not necessarily a therapist at that point, but maybe a friend
Yeah,
or someone trusted, to really tell them, hey, this is what I'm going through. I think, you know, now let me give you a background to that. He was so
yeah,
important in my life that I just finished service, I started one small work. So he encouraged me to go for masters, to pick up a master's form. And he was already going to pay my fees. When the form came out, I bought it. Sent me money. I bought the form. Transcript. I got it. It was just when admission was coming out, this man died.
oh my goodness.
Even though I started some work, I wasn't saving because I get uncle now. We go pay my fees. Like everything was
Yeah,
settled and everything. So that's part of my. I almost did not go for my masters. Why? Because there was no just money to go to pay for it. So it was difficult. I broke down like months after. Like it was like my my hope has been dashed. So
yeah.
I didn't take the step of talking to someone about how much this experience impacted me. So that's one thing I should have done better, just opening up about my experience. So I held it for so many months, and of course it affected me. I began to experience, anxiety, panic attacks, and low productivity, and poor relationships, and all of that. I had to come to a point where I needed to admit that this was something that, really affected me negatively. So,
Okay, that's one healthy coping skill, to find someone to talk to. And it's very important
absolutely.
that we know that it is not everybody that you will talk to. It is It is just find someone you trust and someone that you
Absolutely.
are sure that can actually listen to you without judgment. Because in Nigeria, sometimes when you share a problem with somebody, you don't necessarily need a solution per se. You are sharing to, get it off your chest, and let somebody just let you have the feeling that somebody understands where you're coming. And then some people don't know this, so they will go ahead into one kind of like a sufferhead competition. My friend calls it sufferhead Olympics, where you
Mhm.
share your problems and you genuinely just want somebody to listen, and they're
Yeah.
attacking you. Oh my goodness, your own is even better. Do you know that when I was, and then they'll start making reference to their own challenge that they've gone through, and that's not necessarily helping you where you're at, because you just
Absolutely.
want somebody to listen to you. I also went through a difficult period. I lost a friend, and we were really, really close and all of
Mm.
that. And when I was sharing with some people, my close friends, and they were also sharing experiences of not necessarily when they lost a friend, but maybe when they lost someone, maybe even a heartbreak. So some people were telling me, oh, I remember this heartbreak I was going through. And I was so grateful because they didn't just share their own experience. They were like, this is the lesson that I learned. And
Mm.
I think that you can also apply this lesson in this situation. And what they kept telling me was, don't worry, with time it will get better. And every time that I come back to still talk about it, so you mean this
Yeah.
person is really gone? They will just be there. They'll just listen and be like, it's fine. If you still need to talk about it and go over it again, we're here to listen. And that really strengthened my resolve. And
That's right.
gradually, I won't say that I've totally let go. And I mean, the reality is still that this person is not in my life, right? But then it gets
Yeah.
easier because there's people that will listen and
Because
not
there's,
judge.
you speak to the right people. Absolutely.
Yes, so moving on now. You said not exactly therapy, right? But just someone to talk to. Now, this issue of therapy, I
Yeah.
mean, this issue of therapy now. My first issue about it is a lot of people don't have access to mental health care in the first place. That is one.
Yeah.
And then the people that now have access, it is now very, very expensive. And we are in
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria, where our mental Gwas is tested on a daily basis. In fact,
Really
even
big.
it's tested per second. So, what do you think that we can do? Because, first of all, not everybody has access to therapy. Then, when you even have access to therapy, it is expensive. Then, let's not even talk about some people that don't think therapy is even a thing.
That's another category of people on the
Exactly,
other side of the
exactly.
spectrum. Mhm.
Yeah, so let's just talk about the access to it and then how expensive it is.
Well, to be honest, you're absolutely right. Therapy can be out of reach for many, many, many people, especially in Africa, in Nigeria, around here. That's just the reality because when we talk about mental health, we're talking about accessibility, one, we're talking about affordability,
Yeah.
two. These are two key factors when it comes to mental health care services in Nigeria. So, true to the fact, the insurance policy, in Nigeria is tricky. Not everybody has health insurance, and for those who have, I doubt that the NHI even covers, mental health, care. I don't think it covers.
When I was in
Yeah.
school, I had health insurance, and it included
Okay.
mental health because I was a student. But if I was a regular
Interesting.
person with just
Hmm.
a regular NHIS, I don't think that it would have covered mental health care.
Hmm. Well, you were privileged, I must say. You were among the privileged because so many people don't have access to mental health care, especially when it comes to psychotic disorders like real severe mental health, disorders. It
Yeah.
doesn't cover that, and that's a reality. It's a problem. So we need to begin to talk about create more awareness in line with advocacy, and influence policy, but these things take long. In the short term, how do we address this issue? So I am encouraging our listeners to begin to take advantage of other possibilities that are out there. And one important thing that you have mentioned from your experience is peer-to-peer support. You need
Yeah.
to ensure that your social support, your social circle are positive. You need to understand, you need to ensure that they are positive, that they are supportive, and that they are helpful in a very significant way. So so that whenever you're going through experience, you need to ask yourself, who can I talk to about this experience that would support me at this time? So
Yeah.
we need to take advantage of peer-to-peer support. And this means that as mental health professionals, we need to provide trainings, awareness, and education, in schools, in communities, so that we can empower people to be supportive to other people. So that's one thing I can point out, in order
No.
to, scale that barrier of affordability and even
Yeah.
accessibility. Peer-to-peer support is key. One other thing is we need to take advantage of online resources like podcasts like this. People
Okay.
need to listen to contents that supports their mental health. Being on the social
Mm.
media and the internet can be crazy. If you don't curate your environment, even online, very well, you'll be feeding yourself with unhealthy things online. So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
important that your circle, not just offline or in person, your circle online also matters. What are the kind of people that are your friends online? What are you listening to online? What content, what music, what podcasts, what movies are you watching? So you need to take advantage of those positive media and feed yourself with them rather, to support your mental health, whether you're going through stuff or not. So
Mm.
I would say so peer-to-peer support is one. Podcast or listening to educative content or positive content online is so key. And the other thing is to take advantage of free mental health care.
Mm.
Even though mental health care is expensive, there are free resources out there. There are books, there are, of course, resources like podcasts that we've talked about, but there are
Yeah.
also NGOs that offer free counseling services in JOS, like CARIS. I know that if you're unable to afford it, organizations like CARIS, support and offer free mental health care services. I, as a professional, have offered like hundreds of pro bono counseling sessions to people who cannot afford them, from students to everyday community people, just in a bid to support people. So you need to go online, use Google, search free counseling services. I know that there are a few NGOs who have presence online that can offer free professional services. So don't if you're struggling, don't just isolate yourself. Don't say that, oh, I
Yeah.
cannot afford therapy, oh, rehabilitation, is expensive. But ask yourself, what can I do? So these are example of resources that you can take advantage of, to just to surmount that barrier of expensive mental health care. For now, these are some thoughts I can share.
All right, thank you so much. This last point that you just made, taking advantage of free mental health services. I had done an episode where I shared where I got free. I'll say free because like I was a student and these are the resources that are available to me. So in school, I studied psychology, of course, and at University of Jos, and there's a psychological services center that offers free counseling for students. So when I didn't even know about the psychological services center till I was a psychology student, and we had started a show on radio to create awareness for mental health and also to tell students that if you are going through stuff, there's a psychological services center, so take advantage of it while you still can. And I don't know if to say fortunately or unfortunately, you will not only be in school for the exact number of years that is your course of study, so because of ASU strikes and all of that, so you still have more time to engage the counselors that are there, and they are top-notch counselors. I was there after the whole episode that I had in 2019, and when I got back to school, I was going there for regular checkups, and now I'm healthy. I've increased in mental Gwas, so taking advantage of that is really is going to be beneficial to us. And then I think that for students, especially that are in universities, you can actually corner your psychology lecturers, even if you are from another department. The fact that they are also lecturers in that university, you can just walk in, and if you happen to know their specialty, you can just take advantage of that, or you ask, you come to the psychology department, and based on you are a student, I am 50, 80, I'm 80% sure that they will not turn you down. They will not turn you down, and they won't even like charge you because you're a student. So you can just say that based on student lecturer, you just fly on that, and you can get the help that you need. Thank you so much for sharing, sir. So now, when you were sharing, right, you had mentioned something about our communal living and how it can be a good thing and a bad thing. Personally, I have really thought about this, and I say that living in communities, our communal life in Africa is a blessing. It can be a curse, but like it's a huge blessing, and I want to lean into the strengths of that. So what do you think is the role that a community can play? Because we already live in communities, that's how we relate, that is our reality, right? So how can we now take advantage of that and infuse the mental health aspect to it, so that, like you mentioned, peer-to-peer support, how can we now transform our communal living to contributing to making better mental health care services available to us?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and I think that communal living is a key, factor when it comes to resilience, building resilience, and mental Gwas amongst people living in communities, and this is so important. I think at the very basic, at the very, the key point, first of all, is people need to realize that you need to establish and nurture healthy relationships with people around you. That's the start. Okay. Because by the time you're going through stuff, if you don't have a good relationship with people, even you would not know how to ask for help. You will not know how to seek help. So having positive and healthy relationship with people is key. Your family members, your friends, and then your people in your neighborhood. That's the first step. Because when something happens, those are the first people that will come around you and to provide social support that you need. Specifically to your questions, I believe that, our communal society has its strengths. It has its advantage, that it provides social support to people. But we also need people at the community level need education, psychoeducation. They need information about how to listen, for instance, one of my neighbors years ago, I lived in Genta. One of my neighbor just opposite our house, they lost their mothers. She died in the night, and very early, it was shocking. So I went into the house in the morning to just be there for them. I went into the sitting room, I just sat down, because at that time it's fresh. There's nothing you can see. Allow these people just be there, be present. Presence is key. Then this other neighbor just came in. He said, you are crying. You should thank God though that she's even old self. That me, when it happened, he started in my head. I just held my head. I said, can somebody just shut this man up? Why would you be saying such a... So can you see that he came as to offer social support, but then he was saying things that were unhelpful? How can you see such a thing to someone who just lost a loved one a few hours ago? What they need is presence. They don't even need your words at that time. So I said this to say that we need to educate at the community level. We need to educate people about, the importance of social support, how to support. We need to educate people how to listen, when to speak, how to be present. Just the basic. It's not too much, technical psychological things. It's just the basics, because we already have the predisposition, the cultural orientation to be there for people. But what we need at the social level, at the level of the society, is just some more education. Mental health organizations and professionals need to do, more community advocacies, community education, to teach people how they can practically support each other without compromising the support, without hurting. So helping without hurting. There's this principle of do no harm as an ethic in mental health support. So you can, even as professionals, we can harm our clients. So talk more of people who are not trained, just normal society, people in the society. They can, in a bid to help, you can also harm. So I think that to scale up and add to the advantage our culture already has, we need to do more advocacies, more trainings, more community engagement and awareness, about how communities can respond to trauma, can respond to emergencies, can support one another more positively. And that can really build the fabric of mental Gwas in local communities.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much. I think that one point that we keep coming back to is awareness, because honestly, a lot of people don't know. Even the professionals, they still have a lot to know. So if the people that are going to be like the recipients of this help, or the people that are going to be participants in giving help, they also need to know. So heavy work needs to be done on awareness. I'm really glad that we had this conversation, and I think that at this point the podcast is going to be taking a different turn, because I don't just want to be talking about mental health things and leaving people without practical ways to do things. So now I'm more committed to helping my dear listeners to build mental Gwas, because in this world, no matter where you are, you need mental Gwas, regardless of the country you move to, regardless of the type of work that you do. You need to build mental Gwas. And so that is where I think that we'll be focusing more moving forward, just being committed to building resilience among African youth and among communities. Oh, thank you so much. Before we go, I would like you to give us one mental health tip based on this episode.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there's a lot is coming to mind. I would say that concerning mental Gwas, mental health generally, I would say that it is not what you are going through that matters. It is what you think and how you interpret what you're going through that matters. That's one tip that I want to leave with us. That is the foundation of how well you do when it comes to maintaining your mental health. Be positive. When you go through negative experiences, ask yourself, what lesson can I pick from this? If you are reaching your limit, learn to say, who can I reach out to ask for help? What do I need at this time? It's okay to pause. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest and pick up again tomorrow. So that will be my tip for you at this time.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Looking forward to more conversations, hopefully physically, so that it can be more engaging and more exciting. Thank you so much. All right, dear listeners, thank you for listening to this episode. Let's keep the conversation going. You can follow the podcast page on Facebook and Instagram at Mental Health Conversations. You can follow me on all social media at Nerat-Dagwi, and of course, our guest today, you can follow him on all social media at Philip Dimka. Until next time, goodbye.